Hello, good morning internet. Welcome to TLC online courses. This is Introduction to Photoshop. My name is Alexander, and today we'll be looking at the pen tool. We'll be taking a deep dive into the pen tool just to really understand how it's used. For a lot of beginners of Photoshop, the pen tool can be a really hard tool to use or even master. So today I'm just going to mention a few rules that are obvious, but a lot of people haven't paid attention to, and a lot of tutorials out there or even design classes don't mention these ones. So I'm just going to explain the way the pen tool works, or a few things that should be intuitive about the pen tool. That'll make it easier for you to work with. So there we've created a new project. I believe everyone should know how that is done already. So the pen tool can be used to create organic shapes, and sometimes you need that. And most of the time the pen tool will be used to create an organic part and then used to make an organic selection or the selection of an organic part. Also, the pen tool can be used to create any sort of organic shape and then just fill it with a color or a gradient. Lastly, you can use the pen tool to create a part and then put a pattern or some brush pattern around that part. Okay, I don't know if this video will be covering all of the cool things a pen tool can do, but definitely we will cover how to use a pen tool, some of the techniques behind using the pen tool right, and definitely we will look at how to make a selection using the pen tool, how to use the pen tool to there's a word for it, crop an image. I don't know if that's a technical word, but I know that's the word that goes around, cropping. I don't think it's a technical. I think for me it's gonna be to select an image and just separate your image from the background or something like that. Okay, so without further ado, let me just with a white canvas and not bringing in any image here, let me just show us the pen tool and how it works and explain some of those basics I was talking about, some of those things that help you understand how to use it. So right here is the pen tool, and the shortcode for that is P. So P on your keyboard, and then you get the pen tool, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit P on my keyboard, and I have this pen tool. Now, before you go further, let me just explain something from the status bar. I have path here. If I have shape, I'm going to get something different, and I'm going to show that in a minute. But right now, I have it at path. That's one important thing to note. Also, look at this point. I have this part operation as intersect. I think that's the symbol for intersection. So all of this is not so important right now. This is the important part I want to come to, this part. Now if you're using a pen tool for the first time, you're not going to have this checked, and so if I try to do something right now, I'm going to be in the blind as I move. I'm always going to be in the blind as to what's going on with my pen tool. So let me get that out of the way. But if I come here and then select rubber band, now let's see the difference. Look at that. I see this rightly named rubber band thing going with me, helping me to see what's going on with my pen tool, where I'm going next, or if the shape I'm seeing is what I intend to create. So that's one of the first things you want to make sure you check. Make sure you have that rubber band checked for your pen to use your pen tool properly. Now, okay, so to use the pen tool, first you click a point, then move your mouse, and then if you're trying to create an arc that goes this way, I see beginners often trying to create an arc that goes this way, and right from where the pen tool is being created, you know what, let me just remove this. This is some of the big beginner mistakes that I've made myself, and a lot of people are still making, is to click and from your very first node try to do something. That is not the way to use the pen tool. That's nothing. That's just one node, and the pen tool needs at least 2 nodes to create a path or shape depending on what you have here. So you need to create a second node this way, and then without lifting up your left click. That's why a pen tool is best used with an external mouse, but your synaptic touchpad on your laptop will still be good enough if you know how to coordinate your fingers. For me, I like to use my index finger on my left click, and I like to use my middle finger to just move things. I like my middle finger is going to be on my touchpad or trackpad, whatever that is, and that's my middle finger moving the mouse around, while my index finger is holding down the left click. Now that is important. Your left click on your mouse or your touchpad or trackpad must remain down, or let me use that word, must be down. So you must hold that one down while you're moving it. Now if you were using a mouse, all you have to do is left click and just drag your entire mouse, which means you need to move your elbow to move your mouse. But with a laptop like I'm recording with right now, I don't need to move my elbow to move my mouse. I just need to move my middle finger, and that's what's doing that. So that's one of the first tricks to using the pen tool on a laptop or a desktop, or if you have an external mouse attached, whatever. So that's it. So say I wanted to make this inverted S. Now already I'm getting the feel of the inverted S thanks to that rubber band. So I'm going to come somewhere here and then just move again. So that's that. So now let's undo all of this and then go to the next step. We've talked about how to use your left click, making sure that you have at least 2 nodes before you start trying to make a curvature of any form, and then you make sure that your left click is down until you've made your path and you're satisfied with what you've made. Then you can lift your left click. Now the next trick is this. I'm gonna make you know what, let me create guides. Awesome. Let me put these guides here. Now I'm trying to make a path, an arc between here and here. Let me put something else here and just another one here. I don't know if I'm gonna need that one, but see, I'm trying to make a path between this node and this node. Excuse me, I think I swallowed something else. We're gonna need this too later, so let me remove that for now. So again, let me break this up so it's not so wide. So yeah, I'm trying to make a path between here and here, okay? And I want my path, or I want the curve to be facing left this way. So I want my parabola or my curve to be in this direction, you know, left this way. Now I'm gonna need to like click and make a node there, then come here and make another node without lifting my mouse this time around. See, here I have to lift my mouse away from me, obviously. If I don't lift my mouse and I try to move my mouse, this is what I get, that rookie mistake right there, and that's not what I'm trying to make. So your first node, you are allowed to lift your mouse, Then on the second node, I can lift my mouse. Now here's the important thing about pen tool. Trick number 2 now, or maybe number 3, is this. If you're trying to make a curve that goes to the left, then you have to move your mouse to the right. Now I'm using a trackpad. Obviously I'm using laptop to record this, so my middle finger, while my index finger is holding the left click down securely, my middle finger is swiping to the right of my trackpad, and that's why you see that curve is going to the left. Let's do that one more time just to make sure that everyone's got it. You click that point, then you click this point, and this time around you hold it down, your left, and then because we're trying to make a curve to the left, then the mouse has to swipe to the right, or your elbow has to move your mouse to the right, depending on what kind of mouse you're using. So that's the way to make a curve that goes to the left. Obviously this curve is not perfect in there, but I'm gonna explain that later. Now I'm trying to make a curve that goes to the right this time around, then the mouse has to go to the left this way. See, look at that direction my mouse is going to. So that's it. Now the further left I go to, the further my curve, the bigger my curve is, or deeper. I don't know what the mathematical term there is. So that's it. And now you see your I'm just trying to make this part to be S, and one way to get out of your part is to just go back to your move tool, press V on your keyboard, and that's good. And then you can always go back to your pen tool when you need it, but V on my keyboard will do for now. Now if I go back to P, I say I have these connected. That's because the pen tool expects you to go back to the beginning this way, but we're not trying to make a complete part or a closed part right now. So the way to break up this and make sure you just have that S part is to hold Alt or Option, depending on what platform you're on right now. On Windows you need to hold Alt on your keyboard. On Mac you need to hold Option. So hold Alt for Windows, since we're on a Windows here right now, and go to that node. Make sure you have that that caret thing showing up under your mouse, under your pen tool, and just simply click that node. And now V. I think a P is still going to attach you back. That's fine. So again, let's click A. I'm using this direct selection tool right now, or part selection tool. Okay, that's not going to do what I want. Alright, that's fine. So again, that's the way to really create left curves and right curves. For left curves, your mouse has to go to the right. For right curves, your mouse has to go to the left. Now down here, let's speak about other kinds of directions our curve may want to go to. So I'm just going to do this. Alright, P. Now we're trying to make an S that goes this way. Again, your first node, you just click that, you don't do anything. Then the second one, we're going to hold it down. Now to make a curve that goes up, your mouse needs to come down right there. And to make a curve that goes down, already because of our rubber band, we've got that down thing. To make a curve that goes down, we've got this already. Your mouse needs to go up like that. Let me undo all of that and do it one more time. Click here, come here. Now we're trying to make a curve that goes up. Our mouse has to come down. And to make a curve that goes down, already you can see we needed to move our mouse up just to get that curvature, doing that already. So to make a curve that goes down, your mouse has to go up. So there we go. So now we've sorry, okay, I'm just going to do this. We've now learned the first basics of moving our mouse and creating what we need to create. Let me see if I can add an artboard to the right of this. Yes, you can do that if you're working in Photoshop CC 2018 and above, but then I can't find it here. It's fine. Yeah, I should be able to create an artboard. Hold on, let me see if I can find that. Rulers, pixels, okay. All right. Let me see. Maybe I can go. There's a way to go to document setup and just edit that. Okay, that's fine. This time around, let's create. It's fine. I can find that right now, so that's okay. All right. Let's remove all of this and talk about. Okay. Let's remove all of that. And talk about how you create a curve that goes in a particular direction when you're not trying to create a perfect, or a curve that goes in at an angle. So let me just I don't know how much I will need this, but let me put that there. Okay, so P again, we're trying to create a curve that goes this way and one that goes this way. Obviously, the rule is to make sure you're going in the opposite direction of the kind of curve you're trying to make. So now we're trying to create a curve that goes this way. To create a curve that goes to, let's say northeast, you need to move your mouse southwest like that. Okay, sorry for the geographical terms. And to make a curve that goes southeast, you need to move southwest, you need to move your curve maybe southeast. You know what, forget about all those geographical terms I'm using. Just make sure that if you're trying to create a curve that goes, let me get out of my pen. If we're trying to create a curve that goes this way, then you need to move your mouse this way. If you're trying to create a curve that goes this way, that goes this way, you need to move your mouse in that direction there, so that your curve can come down this way. When you move your mouse this way, your curve goes up that way. That's just what I'm trying to explain, okay? I don't know about that. So let's reverse that, shall we? So if I go, I select that, and then I want the curve to go up in that direction. I need to move my mouse down in this direction, and vice versa. If I want the curve to go down in this direction, I need to move my mouse up in that direction. Basically, the idea is always go in the opposite direction of where your curve is supposed to face. Let your mouse go in the opposite direction of where your curve is supposed to face. And just keeping all of this in mind already, you have you learn a lot already about the pen tool. The next thing I want to show us about the pen tool is this. Say Apologies for the plane. I live close to an airport here. So say we're trying to create a path. We go this way, we go this way, we go this way. Say I wanted a straight line back. I can't get my straight line back for some reason, because say I wanted to create a straight path down this way and not this curved thing I'm getting. Again, do that Alt and click the last node, and that's how you get back to your straight line. So every time you need to get back to your straight line, that's all you always do. Alt and then last node. Alt and then click the last node, and then you're back. Alright, so we've learned so much about the pen tool already. The next thing I want to do is come here and change this to shape and just put a layer there, so we see what happens if we are doing shapes. Exactly, that's what happens. So this is how you use the pen tool to create shapes. Not the only way, but it's one of the ways to just do it quickly without stressing yourself for any other steps. So this way we've created a shape, this organic shape, with our pen tool. Let me remove the guide first to shade it and back. Alright, the way I removed the guide, I spoke about that in the previous video. Hold Control and click the semicolon on your keyboard, or the colon, and that's how you hide it and also bring it back. It's just the toggle. Alright, let's create another shape quickly. Let's create a geometric one now, something that's not so organic after all. Let's just follow our guides, and there you go. We've made a square, or something close to a square. Alright, let's make another geometric shape with our pen tool. Right now we're just creating all this shape to show the power of our pen tool. You can create geometric shapes with your pen tool as much as you can create organic shapes. Let me just do something with what we have here and have a logo kind of thing going on. So yes, here's something I want to do, something important. I'm trying to create a curve that goes this way. Always create your note between where you are and where you're going, not where you're trying to pass through, or I don't know how I should put that. So don't create the node where you're trying to pass through, create the node at where you're going. Sometimes, okay, if creating it at where you're going can be too far, I get that. Just put it somewhere along, but whenever possible, create a node between where you are and where you're going. Alright, I think I just made a nice motif there for a logo or an icon. Okay, another important thing is this. When we were using path with our pen tool, notice we weren't creating any layers. So when you're drawing in paths, you don't create layers. Like that, you're not creating any layer. Let me undo that. But when you're drawing in shapes, you create automatic layers, much like shape tools. So also keep that in mind. See, now I have another layer there. Awesome. Okay, I know I could create a new artboard. Let me see, where is it? I'm going to figure that out later. I know there are ways to create more than one artboard in Photoshop. I've done it before, but it's not what I do a lot. I guess that's why I'm having a hard time figuring it out. That's fine. Okay. All right. So we've talked about the pen tool a lot. There is one more thing I want to do. When you create a path and you still need to fill that path, there's a way to do that. For this, I'm gonna create a new project since I can't find, or I can't seem to remember the way to create a new artboard. That's fine. It's not fine, but you know, we don't have to make do for now. Okay. Again, let's put our guides. I like guides. They make your life easier. That's just it. Let's make this one snap to the middle, and let's have this one that snaps to the middle. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to that part, and here I want to demonstrate how you can fill a part even when you're not, without necessarily drawing a shape. Okay, so now I have that layer, and I'm just gonna draw something quickly. Just some really organic stuff. You know, that's ugly. Notice where my mouse is moving towards because of the kind of shape I'm trying to create here. I'm not even sure I got what I want, but I'm still able to demonstrate what I want. The next thing to do right now is to select a foreground color of your choice, because you're going to need that to fill. Now right click here. I said we can make selections with the pen tool. We'll get to that in a minute, but first let's go to fill path. And let's fill part with foreground color. Of course, we can come to foreground color, background color, just select the color. Those are the different options we have. You could fill it with a pattern, but right now let's just fill it with a foreground color and leave everything else as it is. Okay, awesome, boom, there we go. Again, let's draw something else. I'm gonna try to draw something geometric this time around. And I'm just using all these new tools in Photoshop to help me snap things up. Okay, again, fill. Yeah, you know what? Let's create a new layer so I don't get that fill sub part anymore. Awesome. Oh, I still get that, don't I? Alright. This time around, let's fill with background color. Awesome. And create another layer. If I didn't create new layers, all of this will be put on the same layer, and I'll have to move everything together. I don't have that time, and that's not what I want really. Okay, lastly, let's fill this. You know what? Let's put it's on a new layer already. Fill subpart. Let's choose a custom color this time around. Something lemon. I think I like lemon a lot, don't I? There we go. I think this is green, not lemon. So that is how you fill your pen tool. I'm just removing that part because for some reason the part is still there. Okay. Oh good, we no longer have that part. That's good. Now quickly let me demonstrate how you can still edit your pen your shapes or your parts even when they're done. Simply press P again on your keyboard. I'm gonna be on this layer because this is the one I want to select. I'm gonna hold Control. I'm gonna hold Control, or better still, let me just show us a different way of doing it. Simply let's go to this part selection tool, click on the part you're trying to operate. You know what, let's go back to P. I think that's the one that's gonna do it for us. I think because I filled this already, I can't do that. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I think I'm mixing up Illustrator with this already. All right. Okay. There's one more thing I want us to be able to do with our pen tool. So again, let's create a new file quickly. This one I'm gonna make landscape because I'm bringing in a picture. So file, here's how you import a picture, by the way. You go to file, place, you either place linked or you place embed. Now the difference is this: if you place embed, the file or whatever picture you bring in will be a part of your Photoshop file. It'll make your Photoshop file a little heavier or a little larger in terms of the MB or gigabyte it takes up. But if you place linked, you simply place a reference of the picture there, and it's not going to be a part of a Photoshop file. The implication of that is if you move your Photoshop file or share a Photoshop file with someone else without sharing that image with them in the proper part, actually they're not going to have that image when they do eventually get that Photoshop file. They open it up, but that image you have placed linked will be missing. So for now I'm just going to place embed. I'm going to go to downloads. I don't have a lot of pictures there. I just got this one, so I don't have a lot of pictures, but let's just I want something a little complex for us to deal with. See, I don't have a lot of pictures just yet. Okay, let's just do this one. Let's try to bring out this. Let's try to select this jar, this shea butter jar. Let's try to select that and lose the rest of the picture. I got this from Google, but this is some box. Okay, so shout out to subbookkooks.com or whatever. Okay, so hopefully they don't sue us for copyright for this. I hope they don't, because I just gave them a shout out after all. So let me go back. We're gonna use our pen tools to select that object. So here's what we're trying to do, just so that you know what. So we're gonna use our pen tools to select that object, the shea butter jar, and then we're gonna bring it out and just have the shea butter jar on a different page on it, on a different layer. So that's what we're trying to do. Now it's always best if you zoom in, H for hand tool there. It's always best if you zoom in so you can really stay within your object. That's another rule when using the pen tool for this purpose. Stay within the object. I know that rookies or beginners are always tempted to go to the edge as much as possible. That's just a mistake. Stay within the object, and whatever you select will still be fine. Okay, so just stay within the object that way. There we go. So already you can see some of the things I've shown us about how to. There's a lot of light here, so I think I'm just going to assume that all of this is part of the jar. Again, we're trying to go make this curve here. Obviously the curve has to go out a little this way. The way to do that is to make sure that your mouse is going in the opposite direction of how the curve should be, like that. Okay, and I'm just gonna pick the straight line. Again, we're trying to make a curve that goes down. The trick is to make sure that your mouse is going up. There we go. Again, I'm just going to do straight one here and lose some of that jar. That's fine. Okay, now I need to get back to my straight line here, and I've shown us this. Alt click that. Here I'm just going to use a straight line, even though it's not, you know what, let's not use a straight line. I'm just going to go here and pick all of this curve at one go. Again, I need to get back to my straight line. Alt click that. Just go. Now let's get a big curve here. Okay, I'm gonna use this to explain something to us. Notice how that curve, I could have turned that into a straight line and then get that curve perfect, but I'm just gonna close the curve, and then I'm gonna hold Control, select that point. While still holding Control, I'm gonna come to this other edge and just drag that in. Now that's how you can edit your curve after making them, or your part after you've made them. Alright, good. The next thing to do right now is, while still on your pen tool, if you go to your move tool, this won't work. Okay, see right there, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Go back to your pen tool, P, right click, select make selection, that one, forget every other thing and just say yes. Now the next thing I want to do is, want to go to layer, new, layer via copy, or you simply do Ctrl J. Now let's hide that layer at the bottom, and voila, we have our jar. Now obviously this has not been super challenging, but we've been able to just put into use some of those things we've learned about the pen tool. Obviously we can do the feather of these and soft edge it, but that has nothing to do with the pen tool. That's something else now. That's mask, and we're not treating mask in this class. We're going to take masks in the next video. So if you have the image of a supermodel or a very complex looking beast of a car or a landscape, whatever, or a sky, whatever it is you're doing, this is the same technique that you use to just bring it out of the rest of the composition. So I think we've covered a lot already. We've covered a lot in this. I think it's been a deep dive into pen tool, if you'll ask me. I probably forgot a few things I should have mentioned that would help about the pen tool, but if you remember anything, kindly comment, and yeah, I'll probably make an additional video, like a follow-up video. Yeah, but I think we've covered quite a lot already. Alright, obviously the pen tool is also a group, but we've used some of the things without really showing. You don't need to come to all of this to actually use all of it. When we were holding Alt and clicking, we were using this one. Obviously, if you have, okay, let me just create something. If you have this selection or this part, now if you go back to the part and just over on it, you get that minus. That's telling you you can remove a node right there. And if I go to a line or a part, you get that plus. That's telling you you can add a node. And if you hold Control, you can make that node into this. Alright, so that's just all of the other tools you have here, the coverage tool and everything. It's just It's just holding your control, your alt, and other things, manipulating what you need to manipulate. All right. Yeah, that is, we've come to the end of the pen tool. This has been a longer video than I thought it would be, but that's fine. Here with brother Arja, that's okay, awesome. Here we've shown how we can fill our parts with colors. Of course, you can in your own time try to fill it with patterns. There's one more thing I could do with a pen tool, but I'm not doing yet. Let me see, maybe I have the time. You know what, let me create a new layer, a new project, sorry. Let's make this one portrait, and let me see if I have the time for that, if I can just do that quickly. I don't think I have the kind of brush I need for this, but I'm just gonna draw a simple figure 8. You know what, I don't know why my figure 8 are always looking weird. That's fine. Okay, all right. So what we want to do right now is to stroke this part, but before we do that, yeah, this was the brush, custom brush we created from our last class, and that is showing there. I want special effects. I don't know what all these ones are about, but you know what, let's just use one of these. Okay, so we're trying to stroke this part. First of all, we're gonna need a brush setting tool, panel, and texture scattering. There we go. Yeah, let's add a bit of scattering, just a little bit. Reduce the count, increase the jitter a little. Let's go to shape dynamics, the roundness, jitter. Okay, size jitter. What size jitter means is variation, basically, and you're gonna see what that means now when we apply what we need to do. You know what, let's do it X's and Y's. Let's flip it, and let's do brush projection. Okay, angle jitter. What's the variation in the angle? I want the angle to vary a lot. Pen tilt, pen pressure. What do we want to stimulate? The pen tilt or pen pressure? Okay, for now let's just leave everything as it is right now. Let's stimulate pen tilt, and okay, maybe we should use this brush instead. Okay, now that we've done all the setting we need to do on our brush, and we have a good brush selected, we need to go back to our pen tool, P, right click, and stroke path. Pencil, it says pencil here, but we need brush because I think we've set our brush. Simulate pressure. Let's hope this works. There we go. Okay, and we can move that. Sorry. Okay, good. So that's one thing you can do. If I had a better brush, or if I had loaded a better brush, we could get better effect with this, but you get the idea of what we're trying to do here already. Okay, so let's just remove that part. We don't need it anymore. Backspace that to get it out of the way. So we're just gonna say love, donate. I'm going to transform that with Ctrl T and just make it big. Love. Okay, don't. Let's make that red. Then 8. Of course, we make the letter 8. So, oh, did I just say letter 8? Sorry, figure 8. love tone 8. Just return that to black. Okay, there we go. So that's the last thing I want to show us. If I had done the scatter of this a little more, maybe I would have gotten something more interesting, but that's fine. Alright, so this concludes our pen tool class. This has been really long, longer than I expected. Alright, see you in the next video. This is the third video of this series. In the first video we had the introduction video, then we had brushes video, and now we've looked at the pen in a really deep dive. Next class we're going to look at mask, this thing right here. I'm going to really dive deep into it and look at all the different things you can achieve with it and some of the science behind how the mask works. See you. Bye bye.